Good morning, afternoon or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. And if you are new around here and finding yourself on my channel for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one around 1 p.m. UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. That's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. Trump has officially picked a new Treasury Secretary, arguably one of the most important individuals when it comes to the US's fiscal and financial conditions, but also the markets more broadly. And the good news that I have for you is he is a pro-crypto candidate. We're going to be looking at that to start the video off. We're going to be playing a clip from Scott himself. We'll be announcing who it is in just a second. We've given his first name there, but we'll also include his second name, as I'm sure many of you would appreciate. But we'll be looking at a clip of him talking about this industry, talking about the crypto economy is here to stay. Then I'm going to be sort of switching things up rather interestingly and going over to a proposal for Treasury bonds, so the very thing that the United States' financial foundations rest upon, could potentially be convertible to gold. We're seeing the rise of real money. And ultimately, the throwing away, good money will always chase out bad money in the form of the debt markets that are just proliferated to high heaven. And ultimately, so is the currency system. And that kind of keeps people very much where they are. We're seeing potentially a shift going on there. And right now is one of the most amazing times to be alive. I'm a big fan of history. I often think it would be great to go back to certain historical periods if I could. However, today is, I've got to admit, one of the most exciting times in history ever. And what we are witnessing, or at least that we know about, I think we've got a lot of things wrong in regards to early history and what went on there. But what we're actually witnessing is probably one of the greatest stories to ever be told. And that is in the form of Bitcoin and this digital transformation and an entire overhaul of the monetary policy taking place today. So we'll be talking about that. Obviously, Elon Musk saying that if the United States continues, it's currently heading towards bankruptcy at a very rapid pace, obviously talking about the interest, etc., etc. Then we're going to talk about alt season. Bitcoin dominance may be on the cusp of rolling, and actually, rather interestingly, this was after a technical target was made for Bitcoin dominance, around about 61.5%. This might signal the end of Bitcoin dominance. And we're seeing those dino coins that all those crypto gatekeeper influencers, the ones with the big accounts, essentially tried to keep you out of so that they could pump their new shiny thing. A lot of those shiny things actually don't even work as blockchains. You can't run a new global financial, social, political system on a blockchain that goes down for even an hour. That's not acceptable. And actually, through decentralization, that largely should be avoided. That's the whole concept here. You've got a kind of decentralized point of failure, multiple points of failure in accounting. But I digress. Let's break the news in regards to Trump's pick. Now, Trump picks crypto hedge fund manager Scott Bessent for Treasury Secretary. If the Senate confirms Bessent, the next person whose signature is on the front of paper US currency will be a fan of digital assets created to replace the conventional financial system. We're going to dive over to a clip of him talking in just a second. US President-elect Donald Trump named hedge fund manager Scott Bessent, a cryptocurrency enthusiast, as his pick for Treasury Secretary. If the Senate confirms him, the next person whose signature adorns the US paper currency will be a fan of digital currency ecosystem set up to replace the conventional financial system. This is what I mean. Something unbelievable going on. And we're all going to get rich. If you follow this channel, you will anyway, hopefully. If you become a patron, you might get even richer with some of my picks, but there's a link in the description for that. It's not for everybody. But at what cost? I do often think this, and this is a battle that I'm fighting within myself in regards to, not coming out and being alarmist on some of the properties that actually blockchains do bring to us that are very sort of contrary to perhaps the original ethos that this industry was spawned out of. So stablecoins largely are just CBDCs, for the majority. They can be frozen, they can be tracked, they can be tracked, etc., etc., etc. There are some good, amazing things that brings, of course. You know, we're moving towards digital identities, we're moving towards social identities, all enabled by blockchain. There's some unbelievable things that are happening as well, and I think where I'm sat right now, they outweigh some of the negatives. But with all technologies, there's this kind of birth that takes place, and birth, from my understanding, can be quite a traumatic period. So anyway, Bessent runs Key Square Group, a macro investing firm. He worked for prominent investor George Soros 3 decades ago and was, according to the Wall Street Journal, one of the driving forces behind Soros Fund Management's famous bet that netted a more than $1 billion profit that the British pound would collapse. It's obviously a very famous and great story, certainly if you're interested in financial markets. Bitcoin, BTC, and crypto as a whole are now in his sight. I have been excited about Trump's embrace of crypto, and I think it fits very well with the Republican Party, the ethos of it. Crypto is about freedom. Are we being gaslit here? And the crypto economy is here to stay. He said in an interview with Fox Business in July, crypto is bringing in young people, people who have not participated in the markets or the great financial beast. Polymarket traders, although everyone should partake in the markets, I think, because it's one of the only ways you can. Markets have essentially, of all caliber, just became a short currency trade. We always say this, the yen is a short, or the Nikkei is a short yen trade. Polymarket trader had bet that he was a front runner at one point. Cantor Fritz CEO, Fitzgerald, CEO, Howard Lutnick was viewed as one. He owns lots of Bitcoin, so it's a very popular sort of crypto narrative. 2, but he was ultimately picked as Commerce Secretary. Lutnick has also dabbled in digital assets, helping stablecoin issuer Tether manage the giant stockpile of US Treasuries that backs USDT stablecoins since 2021. And we've spoken about what's going to happen with stablecoins and the vital role they're going to play, not just in the US, but more globally. Let us now dive over to a clip of Bessent, or Bessent. I'm definitely saying that wrong. I know the Americans in the audience, which is the majority of you, by the way, and we're very thankful to have you all. And we're very excited about everything that's going on for America. Certainly, I sit here and watch as somebody in Britain, somewhat jealous in many regards. And obviously, you know what's taking place in Britain. You know, they're now imprisoning people. They're throwing out violent offenders of some pretty serious crimes to clear space for people that have said things on social media. George Orwell. I don't think even he was a good predictor of the future. I think he just understood the past and what the ideals that we're now implementing in the UK have led to previously. You know, he certainly studied some of Russia's history, etc., etc. But we won't say too much on that. Let's dive over to a clip now of Bessent talking about crypto. This was when Bitcoin, I think, was about 60K. I'll mute my mic. We'll get straight into it.
I've been excited about the president's embrace of crypto, and I think it fits very well with the Republican Party, the ethos of crypto's about freedom, and the crypto economy is here to stay. The Democrats are running from it because they're trying to wash off the stench of Sam Bankman-Fried and his family's donations to the Democratic Party. So they're willing to take down a whole industry because of bad behavior on their part, bad behavior on one actor. And I think that everything's on the table with Bitcoin. And to me, one of the most exciting things about Bitcoin is for a generation of investors who maybe post the great financial crisis have been looking for investment opportunities, or maybe they'd soured on markets. Crypto is bringing in young people. It's bringing in the people who haven't participated in markets, and having a market culture in the U.S. and people believing that markets work for them is a centerpiece of capitalism.
So clearly an individual that's very pro-crypto. He believes in the crypto economy. I know Brad Garlinghouse, obviously Ripple's CEO, had said, he's a perfect pick. We're seeing all those Dino coins again doing very well. XLM, XRP, HBAR, I hold all of these. So does my community. If you're not benefiting from what's taking place right now, you're doing something wrong. There was something in which I was going to get into, but we've gone on for quite a while now, and that is that there's been a proposal for 50-year Treasury bonds to be convertible into gold issued at the initiative of President Trump. This is really interesting because there's a dying of this sort of current financial system that we have that is largely debt-based, Treasury-based more so than anything. And there's a need for a revival in it or a conversion of it. And I actually think there's even going to be a Bitcoin element in that. Trump sort of made little comments that why don't we just pay off the debt with a little bit of Bitcoin and things like this, as he very eloquently does. But something phenomenal is happening. And you might not even like crypto. You might not be into it. You might have been put off by it. You might, not be into markets or anything else. But what I'm telling you right now is that if you're not going to have any idea of what is directly affecting your life in the future. And you're not going to be able to arbitrage that system and make money off it and change you and your family's lives. It is your responsibility, nobody else's, to look after you and to get you informed enough or to have the initiative enough to start looking into markets, to start understanding them, and to start understanding the current system that we live in and what is coming. Whether you like crypto or not, you are going to have to deal with the consequences of everything that is taking place right now. And you can either profit from it or you can lose from it. And that's life. There's winners and losers in life. But you need to start paying attention to everything that is taking place right now because it is going to directly affect your life, your family's life, and everybody around you's life. And this is happening. It's miraculous to me that crypto was introduced in 2000. I'm sorry to go off on this rant, guys, but there is something phenomenal taking place right now that we need to start paying attention to. We have been here, and we want everybody else to do the same. Obviously, Elon Musk talking about bankruptcy. Let's talk about Bitcoin dominance. So I think potentially there's a broader pattern for Bitcoin dominance that eventually sees it go into the sort of 20s in terms of 20% of the overall market. Now, if you think about the fact that there's hundreds of prominent cryptos, thousands of cryptos out there, perhaps not more prominent, many of them need to be wiped out, I believe. I could plausibly see a Bitcoin being 0.25% of the overall space. However, we've looked at a number of things. We looked at the BLX and we looked at the period of time it typically takes for Bitcoin dominance to roll. Let's go for a 2-weekly chart. And let's put the Bitcoin dominance chart on here. We're right around track, really, in regards to the period of time post-halving that it takes for Bitcoin dominance to roll. And actually, with the breaking or the taking of this target that we had down here for Bitcoin dominance, this was actually highlighted by a Patreon. The beautiful thing about being in a community is I can't always pay attention to everything, but other people can. Certainly, if we're all on the same wavelength, they might spot things I don't. And they'd highlighted a smaller pattern here that essentially had a BTC dominance target at around about 61.5%. From here, your sort of base. This target was met, and coincidentally, you're now selling off from it. Is this the top for Bitcoin dominance? Well, with the rising of Dino coins and the new sort of legislative or the new political regime that we're now marching towards, it potentially could be. And we're seeing coins like, this is now broken out of what we were looking at. I did a video on this yesterday. Algo, obviously Cardano, well and truly broken out now. This is spectacular sort of price movement for Cardano, obviously on the back end of everything going on with Charles Hoskinson. You're seeing obviously one of my big favorites, HBAR, well and truly breaking out and starting to make moves. Obviously XLM. We've looked at this. This is an unbelievable breakout for XLM, and there's potentially some broad targets we can give you in the future. But we're really seeing the rise of sort of layer ones, altcoins, and I think this is set to continue. And I think these moves that we're seeing at the moment are just the start of what's to come. And everything is kind of playing out exactly as planned here on Allincrypto. So I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. I do apologize for the ranting at certain points, but this everybody needs to be paying attention to what's going on right now, because it's going to directly affect your lives and everybody around you's lives. And you can arbitrage that. You can make money out of it. You can do well. You can be a victor of the system that's coming to a degree. We'll see. So that's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one.